All right, Shalom. Praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. This is the brother Yakana from the GMS Houston camp, and just coming with a quick lesson. This is part of the UAP hearings that are going on in Congress, and this is really, it's not getting as much attention as other things going on around the world, or entertainment things, but this is a reality. This is him describing the chariots, what he saw, and Lord willing, I'll be able to link it with the scriptures, because what he's describing is in the scriptures. So I'll go ahead and play the video.
Actually finished my cigarette and I began walking up towards the flight line. There is a track, and because I was on 3 months of night work, I would walk the track at night when we were weather down. And as I began walking towards the light, towards the flight line and the track, the light then flies across the base, across the flight line, and as it flies to me, a triangle manifests around the light. I can't tell you if it's active camouflage. I can't tell you if it appeared around the light, but I can tell you that it was a white light, and then it was a triangle. It stopped about 100 feet in front of me and approximately 100 feet above me. My telephone got extremely hot, completely froze, dead. I remember how thick it was. It was between 1 to 2 stories thick, equilateral triangle. I could never see the top of it, and the edges were 90 degrees. There were 4 lights in total, 1 light on each corner and a larger light in the center, 2 to 3 times the size of the corner lights. But what was really odd was the outside. The best way to describe it is like looking at a James Webb telescope picture where you have the colors and then the black background. So the craft itself was this black metallic flake paint, but on top of the craft was this gold, lava, plasma, some type of fluid going over and around the craft. I'm under this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then the center light flashes 2 to 3 times, no sound, immediately shoots up to commercial jet level minimum, in my opinion, and I immediately feel static electricity all over my body, and then I smell the smell of after a thunderstorm or lightning storm, that really strong summer thunderstorm smell. Gets up to flight level. I'm trying to get my phone reset, and I can only see the center light at this point. If I didn't actually see it take off, I would have thought it was a star. And then it hovers up there, and it begins to slowly move due east out over the Atlantic Ocean. I finally got my phone reset. The entire thing was about, from the time I saw the light pop up near the hangar until it took off out over the ocean, was about 15 minutes.
All right, so you heard him. This is 2 Kings chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 17, or just go straight to the point. And 2 Kings chapter 6 and verse 17, and Elisha prayed and said, Lord, or Yahweh, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. Now, this is describing the chariots. Sometimes the scriptures will describe the chariot as being a chariot, a wheel, a cloud. In this case, for the example that I am going to use, a mountain. But these things are cloaked. So Elisha sent up a prayer, and the eyes of his servant was opened up so he could see the chariots, that they're all around. So showing that they can reveal themselves. They can make it. They got cloaking technology, like he said. Like, I don't know if this was cloaking technology. I don't know what. He don't know what it was, but it's written in the scriptures already. So the men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, starting with the apostles, elders, the men that taught them of Great Millstone, or I should say the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, and the teachers that taught them. We're aware of the chariots. We're aware of how they work. What they look like, what they are. Matter of fact, This is Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, learn not the way of the heathen. So, anything that these heathens do here, whether their philosophies, whatever it may be, we're doing the opposite. We're seeking after righteousness. The ways of the heathen, all this stuff, it's the ways that lead to death. And like it says in the next verse, or the next part, it says, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. So the chariots, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, the clouds, the wheel within a wheel, these are the vehicles of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And we're not to be, dismayed at them. It's not to make us panic, because we know what they are. These are our brethren up in them chariots. So this next one, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13. And I'll start at verse 3. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. This is speaking of Yahushai. In Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, the previous lesson that I did going into this. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men. Oh, so I wanted to get straight to it. Well, I'll keep reading. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So this is Yahushua returning, and this is in the middle, in the World War III is already going on at this point. All the armies, they're going to be fighting, all the armies of the world, they're going to be fighting against each other. And when Yahushua returns in that great big chariot, they're going to turn their attention to him and try to attack him. Verse 6, but I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Now, the point of this is that the imagery, what the man was saying, it was like a triangle. He said an equilateral triangle. And he couldn't see, the top of it. So, when you look at a mountain, it's actually, when you're looking at it, it's an equilateral triangle, meaning the all three sides are equal in length, or appear equal in length. And so same thing for a mountain. When you look at a mountain, the sides might not, but the point is, it still has that shape. That's the point. But I beheld, and lo, he graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So here, Ezra couldn't see, where that mountain or that chariot, began or ended. And then the man, what's his name, Dylan Borland, the man giving the testimony, he's saying he couldn't see the top of it. He could only see, the two corners. And he mentioned, how tall he thought it was, but he really couldn't tell. But that's it for that, really. And also he describes the colors. He said it looked like space. It had all these different lights on it, which he said it had 4 lights, 3 on the sides, or 3 on each corner, and then 1 in the center. But then he described it like space, like it had all these different lights on it. So just, getting a picture of what would be, something that you would see from a telescope that he was describing. Which not really like that. I'm thinking like this. You see all the stars and the colors, all that. This is Ezekiel. And I'm gonna probably get another. Actually, I'll just read that. And Ezekiel, the first chapter, it goes into the description of the chariots, what they look like. Now Ezekiel saw a wheel within a wheel. Ezra saw a mountain. This man, the man giving a testimony, he saw a equilateral triangle. But it's all describing the same thing. You have other people that also they saw orbs. So I'm just gonna kind of just get to the point, like on this one. This is describing one of the chariots, which it says Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 26, and above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was a likeness as the appearance of a man above it, upon it, Salaki. And they're describing the chariot of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, his throne. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it. So, while this man ain't see the throne of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but he saw a chariot, and they're all similar. And what he's describing is a very, it sounds similar to this description. And I saw as the color of amber, which he said, golden, lava colored, which we'll get that, the colored amber. That's golden, that kind of, you see that color there. And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it. From the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about. So he said he looked like fire or gold, flowing through out that chariot. Verse 28, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloudy day, and as the appearance of the cloud, tongue-tied. As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. So the man even mentioned that it smelled like a rainstorm. And the colors that it's describing is also like a rainbow. And he's saying also in that chariot, it had all kinds of different colored lights, all kinds of different colors, like how he mentioned with space. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of Yahweh Shem Yahushai when I saw it. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So again, and verse 27, and I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw as it were the appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about it, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain, so was the appearance of the brightness round about. It was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So this is what Ezekiel had seen, and that man's testimony is matching with the testimony that's given in the scriptures. But let me see here. Let me jump up a little bit. See, Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 4, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it. And out of the midst thereof, as the color amber, out of the midst of the fire. So this sounds very similar to what the man saw. And this is what while the world is, caught up in different things or whatever like that, I just noticed that video, it doesn't even have 100,000 views, not even half. Matter of fact, I can see if it updated. Shoot, barely 200 views. I think it was it was still 47,100 maybe the last before I updated it. So this ain't something that a whole lot of people are paying attention to or even looking at. I mean, shoot, I could probably even look at the comments. This guy's testimony is as good as we'll ever hear. Brilliant young man. But this is in the scriptures. It's already written in the scriptures what this is. This man ain't saying nothing new. It's new to you heathen, but y'all still don't know what this is. Bruh sound terrified. I believe him. He is so scared sharing this. But so far, look, so far going down this comment list, none of these people know what these are. They don't know, oh, I saw it too. Oh, I believe this man. But nobody knows what they are. But the men of the Lord do. Shoot, out here in Texas, Lubbock. Austin, Texas. But that the point I believe has been made, and still looking at these comments, nobody knows what they are. They've seen them. People have seen them, you know, but nobody knows the truth of what they are in this comment section. So good for them. And this is good news for the Israelites, for the hopeful elect. I'm gonna close out with this is good news for the hopeful elect. That these chariots that these people are seeing, being terrified of, whether they, this is good news for us because this is our ride out of here. And this is a. I'm going to go ahead and read this. This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, Yahushua, and they also which pierced him. So showing, like I mentioned, those that pierced him, they're here today in reincarnation. They're going to be here. They're going to see Yahushua coming back. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. So all the kindreds of the earth, the whole earth is going to be mourning when they see Yahushua. These elites, you wicked 2/3, all you heathen nations. And that day you're going to realize, hey, this is it. All the things that we've done has been BS. You elites, this is going to be the last day of your whatever you doing. You're the last day that you reigning in wickedness. Hey, that's it for you. Let me see. I think shoot, that's pretty much it. You know what? I'll close out with this because these chariots, they coming. Well, Yahushua is coming, and you people are going to be mourning. The earth is going to be mourning. All you heathen, especially you Esau Edom, because this is Yahushua is coming for you. This is Isaiah 63 and verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. So who is this that cometh from Edom? A modern day Edom, modern day Basra, which Basra is in Edom. That's just a tourist destination. When you look at the architecture there in Petra, it's the modern day. It's the Roman infrastructure, the Roman architecture, I should say. Going back to them, this is who it is. It's the same people. You see that same architecture today, that same Roman, thinking today. Look at your courthouses, the way this, hey, look at the architecture, just the architecture. You see all that same architecture. So who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. And who's Yahushua coming to save? His people. Let's get that real quick. This is Matthew chapter 1 and verse 21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushua. His name isn't Jesus. There was no J in Hebrew. They weren't speaking Greek. They were speaking Hebrew, and not Yiddish. It's Yahushua. He saves. He delivers. For he shall save his people, who is the Lord's people. He was from the tribe of Judah, yes, but all the 12 tribes. He's going to save the 12 tribes from their sins. Not the entire world's sins in the oikomany sense, but the entire world in the cosmos sense. He's going to save his people, the Israelites, from their sins. Let's see. What? So again, Isaiah 63 and verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? So why are you red? Why are your garments, look like they dyed red, like you've been stomping grapes, making wine? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. So, hey, this is Yahushua, stomping out these Edomites, as if he was treading grapes, as if he was stomping grapes to make wine. And he's going to do this in that massive chariot mountain. Just finished reading Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, and I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury. So, I've seen comments or whatever. Would Jesus take vengeance on his enemies? You think he would want revenge? But this is saying what Yahushua is going to do when he comes back. Yahushua ain't no, hippie. He's coming back for vengeance. He's coming back to save his people. For I will tread them in mine anger. And you think these Edomites, you think they just innocent? No, you touched the apple of Yahweh Shem Yahushua's eye. Yeah, we were given into your hands for our iniquities, but you took it way too far. You're the man of sin. So, for I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. So, This is what Yahushua is going to do. He's going to do so much killing that he's going to be in the chariot, but it's given the imagery of him as if he was in the wine fat, stomping grapes, and his garment covered in the blood of the grape, just symbolizing how much killing that he's going to be doing. Even in Revelation, it says, "Hey, the blood was up to the horse's bridle." Symbolizing how much killing, how much death is going to be here on the earth in his return. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. So this is the day that's here. It's going to come to pass shortly. Just look at the signs. Look at the times. So, hey, this chariot, hey, this is a good sign to us. It reminds me that, you know what? I might get it in the NLT too. Let me see here. This is Philippians chapter 1 and verse 27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Hamashiach. So, like it says in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, what manner of persons ought you to be? We should lead lives, that's an agreement with the doctrine, with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, with Yahushai. That whether I come and see you, or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs, that ye stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. So we fighting for the good news. We fighting for this truth. And are we fighting a physical fight? No, this is a spiritual battle. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We doing this in the spirit, through the scriptures. This is how we're fighting. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is going to, like it says, Yahushai said, there was none to help me. Yahushai is going to take care of all the enemies. Verse 28, and in nothing terrified by your adversaries, which is to them an evident token of perdition, but to you of salvation, and that of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So, and in nothing terrified by your adversaries. They got the Palantir. They got the what's the thing called Gideon. They got Predator drones and this and that and Hellfire missiles and Dews and microwave technology and all sorts of things, all sorts of madness. Psyops and poison in the water, the air, whatever. This man can look up what you're doing, tell where you're gonna be, do all. Hey, he's real scary, whatever. But in nothing terrified by your adversaries, which is because the signs of the chariots, the chariots gonna bring their destruction. The ICBMs gonna be shot off, destroy this place. The chariots are gonna, Yahushua gonna come in the chariot and be melting people, turning them to dust and smoke. And that same chariot that's turning these heathen into dust and smoke, he's gonna be saving the elect. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Let me see, get the NLT real quick. And I'll close out with this. This is Philippians chapter 1 and verse 28 in the NLT. Don't be intimidated in any way by your enemies. This will be a sign to them that they are going to be destroyed, but that you are going to be saved, even by the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai himself. So, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, he's going to save us. He's going to send his son, Yahushai, to save us. So it's beautiful. It's a one hand destruction to our enemies. In that same move, our enemies being destroyed, being destroyed, we're going to be saved out of this. And Lord willing, hey, I'm part of that number. But hey, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Hey, Shalom.